Nick here with Cruise and Family. I am coming to you today to talk to you all about our dining experiences on the Wonder of the Seas. So this summer we took a 7-day cruise, Eastern Caribbean cruise on the Wonder of the Sea. We did purchase the unlimited dining package, which included all the specialty restaurants, excluding like the chef's table, which you could still eat at, but there would be an extra charge. Izumi, which we did eat at, and there was still an extra charge. And I think there's one other that's not included with no charge. But today, I'm going to talk to you about our experiences at those places. So to get started, I'm going to talk to you about Hooked. Hooked is a seafood dining restaurant. It is located in the forward above the Solarium Bistro, and you overlook the forward of the ship. It's an excellent ambiance inside. Definitely nautical themed. The chairs are wooden, and we ate there twice. And with the unlimited dining package, you can eat at specialty restaurants more than once. We ate there once for dinner and then once also for lunch. So our first experience was our dinner experience. It was the first night of the cruise. So the sail away party had just completed. We were fresh onto the ship, still trying to get used to like location and everything. And fortunate for us, we had a forward balcony on 14. So this restaurant is actually very conveniently located close to our room. It was just a short walk to the elevators. We took them up and then went into the dining space. Our waiter was excellent. He brought us to the table, kind of gave us a rundown of the restaurant, and then he let us look. He gave a couple of recommendations before letting us look, but we had some time to go ahead and view what the menu had to offer. One thing to note, if you're new to our channel, you might not be aware, but I am allergic to shellfish. So when dining at restaurants, it's important for me to make sure that there are no shellfish in items. I was actually I can still eat fish. I ordered a salmon. It was a blackened salmon, and one of the sides that I had was the mac and cheese. The menu states that it's a lobster mac and cheese, but I talked with the waiter, and they were able to exclude the lobster from the mac and cheese. It seems they cook the mac and cheese and then they add the lobster after the mac and cheese is cooked. So pro tip for anybody that does have seafood allergies, just make sure that you communicate that every time you sit down on a cruise at a new restaurant. Most of the time they're going to ask you anyway, but make sure that you communicate that. So our waiter, he talked all through, like, hey, these are the things you should avoid. I already knew those that I should avoid. Crab, I should avoid lobster, I should avoid shrimp. But he made sure to go through it with me anyway.
Hooked is off the hook. It is amazing. Our waiter was amazing. He explained everything to us, told us what the best fishes were. I highly suggest the blackened version of your fish. Spot on. Mac and cheese was not my favorite. It just didn't have a ton of flavor. And listen, guys, I'm a fluffy girl. I know what flavor is. But the lobster in the mac and cheese was amazing. Lobster was great. Shrimp was amazing. Coconut shrimp. Even the vegetables were awesome. So Hooked, you have to try it. Coming
to talk about lunch there, they do have a separate, different menu. And I would say compared to the lunch menu, compared to the dinner menu, the lunch menu was just a little bit of a letdown. And what the big bummer is if you know you like something on the dinner menu, if you talk to your waiter, most of the time they're going to be able to say, hey, I can get that for you. Our person actually was the same person from the first night, and after we had eaten our food, he's like, oh, I could have gotten you that dish, but just something to note. So the menu is smaller. They have smaller sizes, but if you do know that you like something specific, take them up on that offer. So we ate at the Solarium Bistro once. The Solarium Bistro is kind of like a buffet, especially at the time we went. We went at lunch or at breakfast time, and they had breakfast items out, and they also had lunch items out. I stuck to some of those lunch items, but we actually did not go to the Windjammer at all, but people described it as the Windjammer for the front or for forward. I thought it was nice that how they plated the food for you. For the future, I probably wouldn't eat in there, just because I try to avoid buffets. Just personal preference. There are plenty of other options, and one really nice thing about the Solarium Bistro is the ambiance. You are right there in the solarium. There's lots of light. It feels very open, and so it's attractive. So definitely worth it for the ambiance. And it's all you can eat, so you can go in there as much as you like. All right. So next up is Izumi. We went to the Izumi teppanyaki, the hibachi, where they grill the food on the grill in front of you. They also have a sushi part. We talked about going there for lunch, and I think we ended up going maybe to Playmakers on the day that we were going to go there instead. Cheryl loves sushi. I have limitations with sushi because a lot of it's made with shellfish, and as I was already saying, I'm allergic to it. But talking about the hibachi experience. So one thing to note is if you're not a group of, I think, 8, you're going to be sat with other people, people that aren't part of your group. We were sat with a group of 6, so there were 8 total of us, and they all knew each other. They were friends through the military, and it was actually a really great experience. Like it wasn't a big deal that we were like third wheeling it over here. We all got along. And were inclusive of us. So definitely note that, like, if you're not a group of 8 or larger, you're going to be at a table with other people, which is fine. So the food is prepared in front of you. They start off with kind of like a example of how they can use the tools. So they do some of the drumming. They sing a little bit, and then they kind of prepare the food in a way that is kind of playful. Our guy was awesome. He did a great job engaging with everybody around the table. You could see like he made an effort to include everybody in the whole process. We've eaten it at teppanyaki experiences before, so we kind of knew what we were getting into. One unique thing in this experience at Izumi was the throwing of egg. So in our other experiences, they didn't do that process where they're like trying to get it in your mouth. I wasn't very good at it. Some of the other people that we sat at could catch it just fine. They did a great job. It didn't happen for me. So the steamed rice that they make, the fried rice that they make, it was wonderful, like so good. I have an egged version. I don't like eggs, but it was just fine, and like the flavor was awesome. I ordered steak and chicken, and the amount of food that you got there was it was way more than what you should eat for a meal. I'm a big guy. I like my food. It was way more than I should have had. I felt stuffed. The steak was so good. It was tender. The chicken had a great flavor, and the yum yum sauce that comes along with it. You could just, like, if you like it, you can ask for more. They'll bring out more for you. But overall, the food was fantastic. So much so that I think that every cruise going forward, and if it has a teppanyaki, we're 100% going to book in that sort of restaurant. So we've done it on other cruise lines, and never had a bad experience with it. So definitely, if you're in any position of being able to book at like Izumi or any other that type of restaurant, I would 100% say go for it, do it. All right, so Mason Jar, we ate at 3 times, I think. We ate there for brunch. All 3 times we didn't have dinner there. So I can't speak to the menu, the dinner menu. I do know that they have more on it. I will say the portion sizes are larger than what I was expecting, especially for one of the times we got one of their like cinnamon roll things. Another item that I ordered was the No Joke Coke and Smoke. I think that's the name of it. I got it right when I made the other video. I like a whiskey and Coke, like a Jack and Coke, Jameson Coke. Adding the smoke to it, I think that it's the smoke that I don't like the flavor of the smoke. And a lot of people are like, "Oh my goodness, it makes the drink so much better." So if you like smoked drinks, it's definitely a cool drink to do. It's cool, So I thought it was interesting. It was really awesome. They brought out your Coke in one of those bottles, and I thought it was it's at least worth a try. I didn't get to do there was another like peanut butter and jelly one. I didn't try that. I just wasn't feeling like it the other time that we went. So, but definitely, the food was good. Nothing wrong with the food. I think the one that I liked the most, they had a Tennessee hot chicken sandwich, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, it's definitely worth trying. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, and based on some of the reviews, and maybe it's because we didn't go to the dinner, we only did the brunch. But I was just a little bit disappointed in, not that it wasn't good, but I just thought it was going to be better based on how other people on YouTube and videos had described it and had kind of talked it up to me. So I think I was disappointed in my expectation, not in the presentation, if that makes any sense. One other thing about this restaurant, right outside it has a bar, and at the bar, sorry about that, at the bar, they have kind of like low down rocking chairs. And Cheryl and I, after one of the brunches, we went in and got 2 of those, just sitting rocking and watching the waves. It was a really cool kind of place to hang out. So something to consider. It's definitely highly used. Like, a lot of people go there and do it. It's hard to find the seat, or at least it was on our sailing. So definitely something to consider. Like, if you're looking for a chill spot to hang out, if you're not like a wild and crazy person, it's definitely kind of a cool place to hang out. One of the times we were there, and I think it was the rocking time, but they had some live music that we sat and listened to. I don't think it was there very long, maybe about 20 minutes of live music. So, but it was still cool to be able to rock and have the music going in the background. Hey, if something that I've talked about has been like helpful to you or useful, or like a tip or anything, or if you just like the type of content, consider giving us a like, and really consider subscribing to our channel. We bring this type of content, and I really appreciate you for that. All right, so next I'm going to talk to you guys about the Chops Steakhouse. So I love a good steak. I loved the steak that we got from there. I thought the sides were kind of hit and miss, but they always prepared the steak to my liking. The ambiance was a little bit dark inside. It was nice though. It's right there in Central Park. You have a beautiful view of that area. Definitely kind of a lower key, sophisticated type of feel for a restaurant. I think that I could eat there every night of a cruise and be perfectly content. But it was nice to be able to try some of the other ones, but definitely Chops was probably my either favorite or second favorite. And I'm probably going to say something else is my favorite in just a little bit. So, but Chops was definitely some good food. So, worth at least one sitting on your Wonder of the Seas cruise. So definitely check it out. All right, next I'm going to talk about Central Park 150. And, as we're preparing, as we're looking at videos and getting ready to come on the cruise, and had made the decision that we're going to purchase this all-inclusive or unlimited dining package, we thought to ourselves, this restaurant really sounded like a restaurant that we were going to find a good vibe with. And I have to say, I was probably the most disappointed with the experience there. And I don't know, like, the food was decent. It was not that it was bad. I really feel like it was just a little off. And I think it's because I feel like it does a lot of what Chops does and doesn't improve on anything that Chops doesn't, if that makes any sense to you. My wife loved her food there. But for me, if there was one restaurant that I say that I probably would be okay not trying again, it would definitely be this restaurant. So definitely, check out the menu. I'm not a connoisseur by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe there's something there that you enjoy that just didn't suit my fancy. All right, last night of the cruise, we ate at Giovanni's. We were gonna skip Giovanni's altogether, and I think that was based on experience of specialty dining on other cruise ships that we've been on, other cruise lines. Giovanni's, it had good service. The food was extra tasty, and it was just all around good. It really was like a surprise to me. We ended up actually even because we order room service quite a bit. I know that there's an extra charge to that, and we already had the unlimited dining package. But we enjoy kind of late night, watching some stream TV. And having a snack. But that night we took one of their pizzas, and the pizza was far better than what you can get through the room service. You would think that it would be the same pizza, but it is not. Let me tell you that. And I had the chicken parmesan that night, and it was really good. It was really good. So Giovanni's, definitely a surprise restaurant, and definitely one that I'm happy that we ended up going to. So midway through our cruise experience, we got to eat at Wonderland, and it happened to be on white night. So it looked like we kind of got dressed up to go to Wonderland, but it just happened to be that we were dressed up for that white night. Wonderland was an eclectic experience. I definitely enjoyed going there for the experience. What I didn't enjoy, and this is just me being kind of snooty or snobby or food intolerant, I don't know. But because of the presentation, some of the things I didn't enjoy as much as I probably should have. It kind of like weirded me out in a way that wasn't helpful for me to enjoy. But the ambiance is awesome. The view of the ship sitting in the restaurant was awesome. The staff were amazing, and our waiter came over and said, "Hey, do you have a preference, or would you be okay with me just bringing out the dishes that are most popular?" And we said, "You know what? Just go ahead and bring those things out." And then later on through the experience, we had seen some dish that he didn't bring out, and we said, "Oh, when are we getting that dish?" And he's like, "Oh, we're already past that." And then 6 minutes later, he brings out that dish. So we really got to, I think, experience the menu in a much larger portion than we probably would have if we had just stuck to ordering as if we had predestination. The chocolate globe, for anybody that's going, the chocolate globe, I would say, is your must order from there. There are lots of things on the menu there, and to pinpoint a dessert as the thing that you must order is probably a little dysregular, but it was definitely the best of all of the items that I ate that night. Being able to talk with the Mad Hatter, expect to have a conversation that you're not expecting to have. So I thought it was fun. Definitely, if you have kids, I think that it's perfectly acceptable location to take and experience. They're probably going to appreciate that dining more than almost any other dining experience that they have on the cruise ship. So I know that's a little bit pricey, but definitely some cool things for the kids. We've peeked over right across from us that they had kids, and they were bringing out some really cool looking things. So something to consider. One morning we ate at the Central Park Cafe, and I know that's not a specialty dining restaurant, just like the Solarium Bistro that I talked about earlier wasn't specialty, but I just want to mention it. The line service was just a little bit confusing to me. They had some foods that you can order over here, and then 9 feet away you order other foods, and to me, it didn't make sense, that process. People that stood in line for ordering one thing, like if it wasn't part of their ordering system, you had to go wait in the second line. It was just a little bit clumsy, and again, it felt a little bit like kind of like a buffet. So maybe that's my own weird idiosyncrasy. Or the food was good. It was tasty, so that wasn't an issue. And the ambiance is really nice because you're there in Central Park. Definitely some place to go and hang out at. All right, last I was talking about Chops a little bit ago, and I almost said that was my favorite, and then I'm like, no, it's probably my second favorite, and that's because this place is my favorite, and it's not necessarily a specialty restaurant. You don't need reservations to even go there. You just kind of go and sit down, and they make the food for you. You do have to pay for the food, and that is Playmakers. But I'm a wing person. Like, I love bar food, so it probably met my jam a lot more than other people. But I love sitting out there, and it was really cool because there was so much action right there. You had the Aqua Theater behind you. You could listen to the show. You had, we went for lunch one day, and a carnival popped up, and they had like carny music and games right in front of us. And then, we just sit there and kind of like chill after dinner, get a little, few cold beverages. But with the unlimited dining package, each person that has the package receives a $20 credit per day to eat there. So, one or two, or maybe even 3 items to be able to kind of like snack on or make into your whole meal. We didn't go to Playmakers once as like, this is our meal for X. Some days we only had 2 meals instead of 3 meals. 2 meals plus a light like continental breakfast sort of situation. But Playmakers is definitely my favorite. So like in Playmakers, they had all sorts of different games going on. You could watch NBA, Major League Baseball. We were there in June, so they didn't have the NFL on, but they did have reruns of football games. Looked like college football games on. And I imagine probably now with September coming right around the corner, you're going to be able to see live college and professional football games in Playmaker. And it's just really a cool place to hang out. So for me, Playmakers, number one most favorite restaurant. I love their nachos. I love their wings. They had a really dessert, the campfire something. I don't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. And we didn't have a drink package, so it was most economical to be able to have a pitcher of that cold beverage, and there wasn't pressure to move on. And lots of people were in there, so it wasn't like they were trying to just fill up seats. But we always could find a seat. All right, I'm coming to the end here, pretty short, pretty quickly, but 2 more that I want to talk about. And the 2 that I want to talk about are room service in the dining room, main dining room. Room service, we ordered. They basically have an $8 charge, and you can get as much food as you want. Please don't waste, right? Just order the food that you're going to eat. But they're not going to nickel and dime you with, if you ordered, 3 items or 4 items, for a family. So, but, just be respectful of, just like at a buffet, don't take extra food just because it's there, just because it's available. The food was decent. We had an issue with them not either bringing enough utensils or enough of the food that we had ordered. So I would say, just as kind of a recommendation, just make sure you check the food before they head out, because it'll take a little while for them to come back. 3 people trying to eat and only having one fork, it makes it a little bit difficult. So something to consider. We did eat in the main dining room twice. We ate there on embarkation day and debarkation day. We had the key, so they actually had the Chops lunch menu in the main dining room. The main dining room is beautiful. It's I think 3 floors tall. Nice furnishings. We had great service in there both times. So definitely something worth going to check out. And also on debarkation day, because we had the key, we had a separate dining room to kind of hang out at. But the negative with that was it put us on a floor that we then had to come down, and we always have our luggage taken off for us rather than trying to lug it through. But if we had luggage with us trying to get out the door, we would have to gone downstairs because there was no way we were going to get an elevator with that luggage. So we did go downstairs, with just us. But so if you're doing that process, you have the key. Something to consider that you're going to have to find a way to get your luggage down those stairs. So, well, thanks so much for hanging in there, watching some of my content here. I appreciate you watching, and until next time.